Well, g'day. We've got several people that have a very good channel, Juno Zero. He has his coffee chat, and I know a good friend of mine should be doing a campfire chat shortly. I'm assured that's going to take place. So this is a beer chat from Australia. Oh, gotta love that stuff. Anyway, I want to talk about something. A good friend of mine, I caught up online with his handle's called Lojo. He won't mind me mentioning his name. But we had a chat the other night which, hello Pushcat. There's the black cat. I kill you all, I kill you all. Anyway, we had a chat and it was interesting because it was about what's sort of being lost. And I think every generation thinks what we were talking about happens every generation. In other words, we think things are lost. You could talk about values, morals, whatever you like, but we were talking about knowledge. And I was explaining to Lojo about my grandfather, who was born in 1895, and how I learnt a lot as a child from him in regards to gardening and preserving food and making do with things that you have. He was a big Yorkshireman, and I realised as I got older, it's you know, the knowledge he passed on to me, and I listened intently as a child. His knowledge came from his fathers and grandfathers. So I stretch back to when he was born with knowledge to 1895, but he stretched back another 100 years as well. So you could say the end of the 17th century, 1690, that sort of period. That's in the short-term frame of living memory. In other words, me speaking my grandfather who talked about his ancestors. And one of the things that I spoke with Lojo about that I think is very important today is that knowledge doesn't seem that important because people today just click their fingers and they want and they get by a phone call or someone else to come and do it for them. But our world is not a stable place, and I would not suggest for one moment things are just going to cruise as they are for eternity. I'm not a doomsdayer, but I do suggest that we're heading for not good times. I think there's a time coming soon when knowledge will be very valuable. There'll be people around, but not forever. What we discussed, myself and Lojo, was that, you know, maybe I've got 20, 25 years if I'm lucky, same with Lojo. But everything is so, the gratification of people is required now in this generation, and they want it instantly. And that's not how life really is. You work hard, you put aside money to get where you want to get to, be it in some cases people saving enough money to go off grid and living a lifestyle that's a bit more simple, probably a little bit more physical, which is not a bad thing. Let's be honest, most people sit on their ass and don't do anything. But the whole point of this chat was to let you know that the conversation myself and Lojo had was reflective, because it won't be long and we'll be gone. And what sort of knowledge base will be left for the new generations if they need to know how to make bread, grow food, harvest rainwater, all these things? I'm pretty sure most people have a resilience within them, even without knowledge. In other words, they'll learn by mistake. But there's a reluctance in the generation below us right now. In other words, the 25 to 35-year-old generation who just not interested. And unfortunately, if things get really, really bad, they have to rely on a very few amount of people who will be around that have the knowledge to do certain things. Like, I've done a few videos on making butter and soap, salt, and making your own bread. But the point being is, if you don't know, it's going to be very difficult. And I would hope that this video would inspire some people in that generation to maybe just learn the knowledge. And the best way to learn it is to do it. But if nothing else, if you make the effort to garnish the knowledge and store it, maybe on a hard disk, how-to videos on bits and pieces that are going to be essential. Anyway, hang on a sec. This is the Beer Chat. So I'm sitting here today. It's the middle of winter here. I'm suffering, as you can tell from the blue sky clipping through the trees there. It's about 70 degrees. That's why I've got something warm on. I'm freezing. But I'd like a discussion for people to maybe reflect on one thing, and that is make the effort to talk to younger people and maybe involve them in something that seems normal for you, like you've got, say, chickens, and they know what eggs are, but maybe show them how you collect the eggs, how you clean the area and you feed the chickens and water them and care for them as you should do for all animals. Something small like that will contribute to maybe their interest in other fields like growing fresh vegetables. I am in the seed business, and I can tell you categorically all the research shows us throughout the world, it's not uniquely to Australia, most people only eat 7 to 10 types of vegetables. And they could be the basic ones like lettuce, tomato, onion, carrots, broccoli, cabbage, whatever it is. Standard is about 7 to 10 vegetables. So I always encourage people to be an expert in the foods they eat. In other words, if you eat carrots and potatoes, become an expert in growing them. That's valuable knowledge. Now, above everything else, I think the most important thing to realise is that, and Lojo and I discussed this, is that we grew up without things that are common today, like electronic devices, phones, iPads, laptops, instant communication. Now there is a plethora of ways to talk with each other on the internet, but I believe the world has never been so well connected, but disconnected at the same time. People text each other, Facebook each other, get on to different programs and talk to each other. So they're well connected, but they don't really talk to real people in real life. That's something that's missed. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that senses that the real sense of community has been lost. People don't share things with each other like they do on a real level, in the real life, instead of the electronic one. I don't know what to do about that. That's just the way things are panning out. But if I can encourage people my age and older to make an effort in reverse technology, in other words, teach your kids or grandchildren some of the fundamentals, growing food, preserving food, cooking food. I'm a great believer that if you know how to grow food and cook it, you've got the whole circle of life. You'll be fine. You can grow whatever you like. All right, the cockies are coming in to take over now. But I just wanted a quick chat. So this is my beer chat. So if you've got any sort of ideas about how to stimulate generations below us, put them in the comments or make a video yourself. I think it's time that maybe we spend a bit more time talking to the younger generation, get them to put their iPhones down and their tablets and just have a talk. It seems to be a lost art. Like I say, the world's never been so well connected electronically and disconnected socially. So it's not a gripe. I'm not making this a bitch session or anything like that, but I am encouraging people to talk more to each other on a real level, along with things like YouTube here. And hopefully this message gets not only to the people in my generation, but the people younger who will ask questions. How do I do this? How is that done? Now, all of us don't have all the information, but collectively all of us do. So some people specialise in certain things like engineering and building, and some in cooking and growing foods and ways to catch wild food. I've got a wild parrot going to attack me in a second if I don't get away from his feed bowl. So anyway, that's my beer chat. I don't think I've seen a beer chat on YouTube yet, so there you go. Someone will copyright the bastard of the saw and I won't be able to do the next one. But anyway, if you have been, thanks for watching. I've got to move here, the cockies are going to kill me.